is much too much, or wouldn't you say? A second is too short, an eon too long. A week is just stupid, and so is this song. Ooh, everybody's got a half an hour. Haven't you got a half an hour? This bill only needs a half an hour. So come in and stay.
Hello, everyone. Live from Bangkok, Thailand, the video podcasting capital of the world. It's the Kirchenbauer Haffenhauer. I'm Bill Kirchenbauer. I thought I'd take a rather aggressive pose there at the end, see how that beginning, see how that works. Doesn't really change anything. So, welcome to the Kirchenbauer Haffenhauer. It's me and Paul Brumbaugh. Paul, you want to say hi there? Show them that you're a real person.
Hey, guys.
He checked that little box, like, show that I'm a human. He checked that off. And this is the Kirchenbauer Haffenhauer, as I've said for the third time now, where our motto is, I talk to myself all the time anyway, so you might as well listen in. Very often, we really don't know what we're going to do when we start these. And today, I think, is a perfect example of that. And it may become evident. But we do it anyway. It's only a half an hour. I mean, what else you gonna do, huh? You're gonna wait for a bus. You're gonna eat a sandwich you shouldn't eat. You can watch this. Maybe you're somewhere. Maybe you're in the waiting room of a hospital, or if you're doctors, you got time to listen to us because we got something to say. I'm getting older. I'm thinking about all the shit I got to throw away. And everybody should think about this. I've collected things over my past life. I have this animation cell back here, one of my prized things. I have others that I've collected. During life, you collect a lot of shit. Memorabilia, things you made, letters you've written, letters you've received, books. I have had, when I moved to Thailand, I had to get rid of half my books. I hated it. I hated getting rid of, but you had to. And it's kind of a cathartic thing to get rid of this stuff because we really are bogged down. And I've collected jukeboxes. I've collected Victrolas. I've collected animation cells. I had a beautiful collection of wind-up toys from the 1920s. Some toys that would offend people. I had an Amos and Andy taxi, wind-up taxi, and I had some very offensive, would now be considered offensive, different toys. I had some army toys and toys from the. I still have some stuff, and that's an example. But we collect things as we go through life. And you just get more and more. And if you stay one place, you'll collect more and more and more and more. And then if you ever have to move, you're overwhelmed by, I forgot I had this. And I have things underneath my bed I haven't seen in 4 years. I have one of those whistles go, whoop, and I have puppets and marionettes that I bought in Prague. Just all sorts of shit. And I'm 73 now, and I'm thinking about what am I going to do with this shit? And it's not shit. When I moved here to Thailand, I had bought antique furniture back in the 70s for my house in North Hollywood. And I went to sell it and nobody wanted it. And those that did wanted to pay like $10 for it. I ended up giving some of it away. Nice oak furniture, stuff that you think is really cool. Collections. People love to collect shit. George Carlin, I asked George Carlin once, I said, George, do you collect anything? He says, well, I used to collect stuff, but I found out I couldn't have it all. So I stopped collecting it. And he was right. It's like an obsession. I had a little collection of those predicted TVs. Remember those things called? The ones that are space age? They had the tube on the outside. It was just a tube. And then it was connected to a box, and you could rotate the tube. It's a classic. You've seen it. They put them on.
I've seen them. I've seen the 50s TVs, and they
That's
almost look
it.
like look like an
Yeah.
eyeball almost.
That's it. That's exactly. I had about 3 of those. I had jukebox. But all this stuff, you pay a lot of money for. People pay thousands and thousands of dollars for baseball cards, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, and for artwork. And I have some old rock and roll. When I say rock and roll, I mean 60s hippies posters from San Francisco. But it's all just stuff we collect, and you can't own it. And they say you can't take it with you. I guess you could have it buried with you if you're going to get yourself buried, which I'm not going to do. I think it's a waste of space. Loitering, not allowed. But I do have some things that are prizes that I think, that should be cared about. I think the most prized possession I have is a authorized reproduction of Jerry Mahoney that was made by an authorized guy that Paul Winchell authorized to make. And it's not a toy, it's full size Jerry Mahoney with a head turns, he's got a stick, and it's signed on the stick. If you don't know about ventriloquists, the head is connected to a stick, and they kind of do this with it. Anyway, on the stick, the control stick, it's autographed by Paul Winchell.
Wow.
Now, if I said to people over here, Paul Winchell, they could go, who? And even in America, people go, who? And he was one of the greatest ventriloquists ever. So I own it. I bought it. I know it's worth a lot to those. They say how much a thing's worth. They're worth whatever you pay for them, and they're worth whatever you can find somebody else to pay for it. Some people won't. I would never pay. I collected cars. I had an Avanti once, a Studebaker Avanti. What a weird looking car, designed by the
sometimes things that are worth, they may be worth something different to you, right? There's intrinsical value. There's real value.
Right, there's sentimental value, but things appreciate and things depreciate.
Oh, you were just talking about that furniture, so everything comes back around, right? So
yes, I'd like to think so.
So like the old clunky furniture, like 5 years ago, everybody was like, "Oh, we don't want that stuff. I'll give you pennies on the dollar," right?
Right.
But now they're all looking for the Art Deco, the 60s, the 70s look. And so now it's back, the value's back.
Yeah, but markets and things go,
up and down.
And up and down, but you never own it. You can, and so the point I'm trying to get to here is at 73 years old, I'm thinking, what am I going to do with these things that I hold so dear to my heart that, I know my relatives aren't going to give a shit about. I mean, I have autographed books from Steve Allen, autographed books from George Carlin. That's one of my prized possessions. George wrote. I bought his book, and then I knew I was going to see him somewhere, and I took the book along. I said, George, I bought your book. You got to give me an autograph. He goes, okay. And so he took it, and I thought, well, what's he writing? And he gave it back to me. I have it. It says, to Bill, you funny fuck, George Carlin.
One of the best autographs I've got, or at least one of the ones I liked the most, was from his brother. From Patrick Carlin sent me his book, and he put in the liner, or in the beginning of it, he said, treat this like a good joint and make sure to pass it around.
Oh, that's good.
And I've never
read. I knew he had his brother who recently died, I think.
Yeah, he just died 2 years ago. And so he wrote 3 different books. And the one that he autographed it was Quien fucking sabe, which means who fucking knows, or who fucking knows. And it's just a whole bunch of little things. He's done little, he did a Jack Kerouac kind of thing, on the road kind of thing. He calls it Route 66. He did another piece right before he died about a neighborhood bar in New York. And I'm trying to remember what the name of that one was. But yeah, no, very prolific man. The
I didn't
Carlins
know
are
that.
very prolific.
I didn't know that. Well, George, but again, I'm thinking about, and I have a friend of mine who lives in Los Angeles. He's a bachelor, never been married, never had any kids, and he's a writer, and he writes everything from comic books to sitcoms, and his house is like a museum. He's
Right.
got the he's got the same dummy that I have, except it's not autographed by Paul Winchell, but he's got a Knucklehead Smith dummy too that was also made at the same time. But he's got books by Ray Harry. I mean, he was friends with Ray Harryhausen, and Sergio Argonis is a good friend of his from Mad Magazine and all that. But all this great stuff that you have and that you own, that you just go, what's going to happen
Right.
when I'm gone? Who's
Right.
going to be the good steward of all this stuff? And what am I going to do with it? So you start thinking, and particularly me, I live here in Thailand, and the shipping to, I don't know, maybe it's worth more here because it's already here, but they don't know who Paul Winchell is, or maybe give a shit. But even diamonds and stuff, I was looking at my mother's wedding ring the other day, and I've got that, and I can't wear it, and it's old, and things that have sentimental value. You just got you accumulate all this stuff. That, well, like George said, all this stuff that you have that. But I'm talking more about what are you going to do with it. So I'm kind of making plans of disposing of, because it's going to get disposed of, or left to,
It's
or
gonna end up in a landfill, and somebody's not gonna know it's there, and it's something that you took pride in or you enjoyed. And I'm starting to do that now. I'm starting to tell, like, my one of my four boys actually really enjoys electronics and technology. So
right.
like I've told him, hey, all this stuff's yours, so make sure to come in and swoop in. I have another kid that likes sports stuff. I have an autograph like Pro Bowl football from 1975 with, like, Fran Tarkenton and Terry Bradshaw and stuff like that on it. So I know what you mean. And even over here, which you guys can't see, but I have an entire desktop that has old things from the 60s, 70s, everything from a lava lamp to a Rubik's Cube to a dial phone to you name it. There's a beeper over there. There's a mood ring over there.
Oh
And
wow.
so, and so,
These people don't even know what that is, though. It's like, you know, I mean, you're talking about leaving things to people that care about them. I'm talking
right.
about things that I care about that some people might look at and just go, so, you
And
know,
throw it away because they don't think it has any value.
yeah, yeah.
I have a
So,
lot of things like that too.
yeah, so I don't know what I'm going to do. I mean, you either got to do it yourself or leave it for somebody else
Right.
who doesn't want to do it any more than you do. I just highly recommend that people plan if you get to be so. Maybe just don't collect that kind of stuff in the first place.
Yeah, what is it? There's the lady that does, I think her name's Maria Kondo, that says if it sparks joy, then you keep it. Otherwise you get rid of it and you live a minimalist life. I'm going through everything in my house, including, we just moved three different houses into one. And so I think, like your books behind you, I've gone through multiple bookshelves going, do I need all these books? Are these ones that I
Yeah,
want to keep? And there are a lot of books that I absolutely want to keep. And then there's other
yeah.
ones that I don't care about. I'd rather donate them to a library
I
or
had to
to
I had to
the
do
Head
that
Start.
when I left the United States. I had to get rid of because I had to ship in a container and it was very expensive. So I had to cut it back. But I enjoy, reading the books. I have some really interesting. I have a book, and I'd show it to you, but Facebook wouldn't let it get by. It's a book by Harold Lloyd. And Harold, if you don't know, people don't know, he was a very, very famous silent movie star. and he would do acrobatic stuff, hang from buildings and stuff. He actually was missing a thumb on one of his hands. He had a prosthetic thumb. He had lost a hand or thumb in an accident, but he would do all this stuff. He was very famous, but when he wasn't being a movie star, he liked to take pictures of naked women, and not only pictures, but beautiful color 3D pictures.
Wow.
And he had an estate, a mansion with gardens and stuff, and he would hire young actresses to come over to his house, and they would pose totally naked. Uh, I don't think there was any pubic exposure, but those old shots, the girls posed, and they're beautiful pictures. And the book came along with the 3D glasses,
Right.
and you look at it, but you think to yourself, here's a guy that's a big movie star, and he went and said, "What do I want to do? I think I'll spend my day taking pictures of naked, beautiful young actresses in 3D." Because I don't know where he got a 3D camera, but they had figured that optical trick out, and he made advantage of it. So I had this book, and I saw it in a bookstore at half price, and I thought, I've never heard of this before. So I bought that, and it's a very unusual book. Um, I have some fold out books. Those books that you used to get when you were a kid, where you'd open the book and it would unfold and turn into like a castle and stuff,
Oh,
and
yeah.
some postcards. I have puppets. I bought the Prague in the Czech Republic. It's not Czechoslovakia anymore. In the Czech Republic, Prague, which is a big city there, is the world capital marionette making manufacturing place in the world. And Prague is interesting in that it's like the only city during World War II that wasn't bombed by Hitler. So it's all intact. And it has these old buildings. I mean, I hired a guide, and he was taking me around going, well, that building was built in 1147. And this building was, and anyway, they sell marionettes. They have beautiful marionettes. And I bought a couple. I bought one the first time I went, and I went the second time, and I bought another one. And they're just so detailed, and their faces are all chiseled, and somebody makes outfits for them. I have an old man with a cane and a hat and a little outfit, and it's a work of art. It's a work of art.
Well, that's another thing. The things we collect, don't they tell a lot about us, the collector? Right?
Yeah, I'm an adult man that collects dolls.
Well, okay, so but I collect so many weird things. We were talking about this a couple shows ago. I'll reach over records. So I have 2 jukeboxes right there outside my door. And here's a purple record that was Prince's Purple Rain. It's just a 45. It's Prince's Purple Rain, but you know how much that's worth? That's like a $75 single.
Really?
Yeah, we were talking about this. Danny Kaye.
Oh yes, Dodgers.
Look at this. Oh really?
Oh.
No O'Malley song.
Oh yeah, I have a record of Art Linkletter singing about his daughter, how she went on LSD. I forget what the song. I should have told you. It's really weird. A lot of records were put out. Remember those paper records they used to put?
Oh yeah,
in Mad Magazine.
I have one over there on the shelf that came from a box of like cereal that is the Archie's record.
Oh,
that's been cut out. I collect weird things too. So here's a menu from the Improv.
Oh, that's great.
Can I take your order?
Menus. Well, let me show you here. This is something I was going to show. So again, getting back to this stuff, my wife was going through a lot of her. We're trying to do 20 minutes a day and go through these boxes of stuff that we brought over here. And my wife came up with this. You're not going to be able to see. It's a report card from her mother from 1930. And menus, I love menus. I love to watch menus. Roast beef sandwich, 50 cents, things like that. And I love the old menus. But I was looking at this, and it's a report card, and it's so It's different than the report cards that I have got. Uh, I mean, I'm starting off here. They don't like here's some of the titles of the things they grade you on. Habits of citizenship. The number tells me my grades. I think tells me what I should do. Habits of health. Sit, stand, walk correctly, keep things out of my mouth, wash my hands and face, clean my teeth and nails, use my handkerchief. And then here's another one, habits of courtesy. Talk and laugh quietly, be polite, be a good listener. And each one of these has a line with they give you a 1, 2, 3. I don't see any A's or B's or so. Habits of obedience, you know, obey promptly, obey willingly. Habits of work, keeping things good order. Habits of play, do my best part in every game. Habits of thrift, make a good use of my time. Taking care of books, make good use of materials. Be careful about my clothing. Judging
right.
you, it's a report
and stuff
card.
You would never see.
And stuff you'd never see on a habits of study. Now here's where it comes down to the academics. The left side, they're just grading you as a human being, whether you're a dirty, filthy, stinky, rude son of a bitch.
If you were raised by wolves or what? Yeah,
gotcha. Right. Okay, and then the habits of study. The number tells you how many grades. The spoken English. Do you talk to the point? Do you speak correctly? Use new words? Memorize accurately? And then written English. Do you express my thoughts well? Spell correctly? Write well? Make my work well? And then reading, writing, arithmetic. Social. Now I never knew. Maybe you know, and I took it, so I should know, but I don't. What is social studies? It's the study of society, I guess, right?
Right.
Is that like citizenship? I mean, what is social studies?
So social studies kind of tells you the story of America, right?
No, that
tells you everything. It tells you everything from the Pilgrims and Plymouth
No, that's
Rock.
history.
That's history. Yeah,
that's history. Social studies is a study of social, how we get to. I don't know. Maybe somebody could make a comment about that. What social? Well, here it says, find out about my country. Find out about other lands. So you're kind of right there. Then arithmetic, make no mistakes, think out problems. Science is bring in interesting things. I guess you bring in a dead cat, they'd find that good. Learn how to keep well. Then music, they grade you on music, whether you feel the rhythm, Well, I'm giving you a B on that. You don't really feel the rhythm that much. And sing correctly. So if you're a bad singer, you could get an F. There's nothing you can do about that. But they would grade you. I just want to make sure that
I'm not pretty intense.
I'm not making this shit up. Okay, this is all the stuff. And let's see, where was I? Science, music, and fine and practical arts. Now this, I don't even know what this means. What fine and practical? I use my own ideas, plan my work well, and do good handwork.
Pretty good handwork.
Do good handwork.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I know this. We did this comedy tour across the country, and there's this guy I was driving with. But that's a story for another podcast.
Okay. 1 is an excellent. 3 is very good. 2 is very good. 3 is good. 4 is fair. 5 is poor. And then in the parentheses after that, failing. So if you got a 5, I don't see any 5s here. So my wife's mother she was a smart lady. I know that. So, but when I thought, oh, this will be, and I opened it up and I thought all this really invasive personal ratings of how you are, as a human. But, we used to teach citizenship. We used to teach, how to volunteer and things like that. But they don't teach that anymore. I don't think. You used to watch, Jay Leno used to do that jaywalking. He'd go out and ask people, what's the vice president's name? And people don't know. People never heard of things that you think you never heard of that. They don't know countries. They think Paris is a country. They think, Australia is Austria. I get that all the time. I saw a guy the other day, it hasn't got much to do with what we're talking about, but I'm crazy about the misuse of words.
Right.
I was watching a guy doing a food show, and he said, "Oh, this is just a melody of flavors in my mouth." And I thought, a melody of flavors? I think you're trying to say medley of flavors in my mouth. In fact, I know that's what he was trying to say, but he said melody. I always get a kick out of how people take one word. It was kind of based on Norm Crosby's act, the malapropisms, where he'd say things that sounded like the word, but they weren't. Remember Norm Crosby?
Yeah, I remember Norm Crosby.
Yeah, and he'd always say things. Like if the word was misconstrue, he would say misconstrue.
Right.
Yeah, so you had to be kind of smart to to appreciate the comedy.
Right.
But I was surprised by how much they, personally attacked you. This was like 1932, 1933, something like that. I tell you, and when my son was going through high school, I used to look at his books that he'd come home with, and I would have never graduated. I think they just let me go on we need to get rid of him. Did I tell you that I won senior class president?
No, you did not.
Yeah, I ran against in high school. I ran against the dean of boys' son, who was a member of what they called youth ranch. And you probably know what that means. And he was one of the members of Youth Ranch, which is the local in-school Christian youth ranch thing. And so he was in that group, and he was running for senior class president. And I got up and made a speech. I did this very funny speech about the cafeteria being the temple of Ptomaine. And I got a lot of laughs, and he was boring as shit. He didn't win. I won in a landslide. And then when the school found out that I had won, it was the last person they wanted to win, because I was just started being a hippie. They went back into my records, and they found out that I had gotten a D in English 2 years before, and said, "Well, you're disqualified." And I said, "Well, why didn't you bring that up before I ran? If I wasn't qualified, you should have told me." But I won. I think you just didn't want me in that position, what it was. If I'd been smart nowadays, I'd go on social media and I'd go to the TV station and I'd rant and rave about it. But that's what kind of bullshit was going on in my high school at the time. They didn't like the outcome, and so they changed it. I almost mentioned it at our 50th reunion, but didn't want to seem bitter, but I remember. Okay, everyone, that's the Kirchenbauer half an hour here with myself and Paul Brumbaugh. I want to do a shout out to Mike Clark, who did the video for the opening of the show, and Jason Willett, who wrote and sang the opening theme song, the Kirchenbauer half an hour. And I hope to see you next week here. Please tell your friends, as they say, give me your finger. Give me your finger. Okay, give me your finger. Put it down there and that's it. And then subscribe. Okay, like that. And you tell your friends, and I want to get all the 1,500 people I have on my YouTube channel to come over to the Kirchenbauer half an hour channel. So we'll be doing these until you can't stand it anymore, or until we get to a million subscribers. So take care and see you next time from the Kirchenbauer half an hour.